Welcome to Together We Harvest on this cold winter day here in Wisconsin. I would like to share with you 3 ways to help your chickens thrive throughout the winter season. Let's go into the chicken run behind me here and I'll show you exactly what I mean. The first way to help your chickens thrive throughout the winter months is always giving them good, clean access to water. On our homestead, we use these rubber dishes because they're easy to break the ice out and they don't crack like plastic ones. You can see right here what happens when I come out each morning to give them water. I fill up a bucket of water inside the house, I make sure it's nice and hot, and I break this water by tipping it over, stomping it out with my boot, and that's why this ice ends up right here. There are water heaters you can put underneath your water dishes, but I've heard from multiple people that those are kind of unreliable and eventually stop working after a while. So my second tip is to make sure that the chickens always have access to a place that gets them out of inclement weather. So I designed this chicken coop with a lean-to structure that allows the chickens to go outside and have access to their food that is protected from inclement weather. The reason why I did that is because you may have a foot of snow right out here, but inside there you won't have any, and you won't have any because they have full access underneath their chicken coop. Most chickens don't like the snow. Sometimes they get used to it and they'll walk around in it, but for the most part, they really don't like walking on the snow. It's very unnatural for them. So they like using this area underneath the chicken coop and right here by their feeding tray. There are other ways to help chickens thrive too. You could have like a greenhouse tunnel. You could put them inside your garage and have that be your chicken coop or something like that. But if you want to keep them where you normally do in the summer like I do and keep their mess, their manure and all that stuff in one area, you can do that as long as you have a place for them to go to get them out of the weather. And I'm assuming because you have chickens, you have a coop. But in case they want to go outside, you may want to supply them with a little extra space so they can do that and not get snowed on. Giving them full access to feed all day long is going to help keep up their energy levels and help keep them warm in the winter months. Obviously, they're going to go in there at night. We've got the automatic door right there. I don't mess around with that. That's set up on a timer. It's powered by the solar panel right here, so the batteries never die, even in cold weather. This leads me to this structure right here, which I just added. So tip number 3, give them an area to dust bathe. They need to dust bathe all year long to keep themselves clean and to keep themselves healthy. If you ever notice your chickens are missing some feathers, scratching their head on the ground, and just look kind of ratty and unhealthy looking because their feathers may be out of place or something, it's probably because they have mites or possibly ticks. One of the ways they deal with mites and ticks is to have a dust bath just like this. But in the summer, here on our homestead, I don't worry about putting a dust bath together for them because they can naturally do that on their own. This is leaf mulch that I use when I collect the leaves from all these mature trees around in our yard. This is about 6 inches to 12 inches high of mulch that eventually turns to compost. What they do in the summer is they dig out all of that leaf mulch and they get to the ground level in our native soil, which is very sandy. We live by a river. And with that sand in our native soil here on our property, they can use that to dust bathe. But in the winter, the ground is frozen and they don't have options other than using the dust bath that I've created for them. So in my garage, I found this steel bin right here. And inside this steel bin, I've got diatomaceous earth, sand, and ashes from our wood stove. Another benefit of burning firewood on your homestead is taking the ashes. Of course, you can use it in your garden. You can put it around your fruit trees, but chickens also love it too when they use it for dust bathing. If you want to use diatomaceous earth and sand, that'll work too. If you want to use diatomaceous earth and soil or some kind of dirt, that also works. But I really like using ashes and sand. I put diatomaceous earth in there. I didn't have to because I'm using ashes, but you want to use ashes or diatomaceous earth, or you can use both if you really want to. But you really do need one of them, in my opinion. And of course, I've got all kinds of random things laying around our homestead that I use from time to time. So I quickly strapped up this metal roof. I kept it at a very steep angle. So if a chicken like that one wants to climb up there, she slides right off because I don't want her going on this roof and eventually being able to fly out of the chicken run. The fence is 5 feet high. If you've seen my chicken run tours and my coop tours, you may remember some of that. The chickens in general are not able to fly over 5 feet, at least the breeds that I have, but they can easily fly out if they're on top of here, then there, and then out into the yard. So if you want your chickens to thrive all winter long, particularly in cold weather climates like I do, you want to give them full access to water, fresh water every single day. Tip number 2 is to make sure they have outside access, being covered from some of the elements like snow or rain. Don't forget about tip number 3 is hygiene for chickens. It's really difficult for them to take little dust baths in the ground when it's frozen. It's actually impossible. So you want to set something up with diatomaceous earth, wood ash, sand, soil. And a little bonus tip here, if you really want to save money on chicken feed because they're going to be a little bit more hungry in the winter as far as I can tell because they're not pecking for bugs. I'm not giving them as much garden waste. Actually, I'm giving them no garden waste because my garden looks like that. So they're going to require more feed, more grain, or whatever you feed them. So what I do is I really focus on the foods we're eating inside the house, and I try to save as much as I possibly can of food scraps or when we're cutting up vegetables and stuff like that to give them added calories so they feel better in the winter during these cold winter months. If you have any other tips that you would like to share with me and some of my viewers, make sure you put those down in the comments so we can also learn from you. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by Together We Harvest YouTube channel. I'm here to help and encourage you to simplify your life to increase its quality. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope I see you on the next one.